guys, this is Jamie with Homeschool Story. So Challenge B logic is what we're talking about. So I'm going to let you know what materials you need and what I did to help my daughter organize, how we kind of kept track of her stuff, that sort of thing. So logic in Challenge B is a lot. There are these huge, ginormous books that you have to have. It's very intimidating and it's actually very difficult for most people. And by that I mean us moms generally. But don't make assumptions for your kids. You know, I've heard a lot of moms that are like, oh, this is going to be so hard, my kid's never going to understand it, and or just tell their kids, you're probably not going to get this, it's too hard. And so don't do that, because the kids actually do much better in this logic than we do as moms, and actually come to like it. At least many of them, and maybe your kid will hate it the whole time, I don't know, but my daughter was not too sure about this logic, and although first semester was not her favorite, second semester logic she loved, and both semesters she had enough understanding of it that she was able to keep pace with the assignments and have a good basic understanding. She wasn't completely, like, I wouldn't say she had mastered it, but she was proficient, and so it was really surprising. I was very proud of her. So don't don't set a bad expectation for your kids, like, because they might really surprise you. They're a lot smarter than we are in all these things. So logic, you have two different sections, one for each semester. So you have introductory and intermediate. And for each of those, you're going to need the teacher edition. So they look like this, and they're giant. So you need both of those. That's the answer key. It has everything in it that you need to, kind of get all the answers, see what's going on, learn the material. The second thing is the student handbook for each. So you're going to need the introductory and the intermediate, and it's called Student Handbook. It's basically like the student workbook. It also has all the lessons in it, so the reading is in here for them, and the definitions, all of that kind of stuff. And then it's fill in the blank. So this is a new one for this coming year, so this one hasn't been used yet, but it's like you write in here, this is consumable. Okay, so the student handbook is what they write in. All right, so you need all four of those books, the two teachers editions and the two student handbooks. Apart from that, all you need is maybe a place to take notes in class. Since all the work is being done in the student consumable book, there really isn't a lot of paper associated with logic, and so pretty much I put writing and logic together in one notebook. We'll talk about writing on a separate video, but there's not a whole lot, doesn't need to take up tons of space, and logic is even smaller. So I found that I could just put them together in one notebook and they still had plenty of space, so we're doing that again for our Challenge B student, which is actually my niece rising up this year. So that's what I do. In the logic section there, it's not in here yet, but there would be paper for her to take notes in class, do example problems, things like that during class time. And also I printed from Quizlet, this is the Challenge B logic through intermediate unit 1 vocabulary list, and so that's in here, and any of the other Quizlet things that I find I put in here just as a way to make sure that we are studying those terms, because that's really going to be a real important part, is knowing those terms. That really helps them understand and be able to do their work a lot faster. And speaking of that, one of the resources I used were these. You can have your kids make their note cards, but there's so many terms for logic, and we were really concentrating on making our own note cards for Latin, that I just went ahead and printed these. So these come from antiquatednotions.com. She's a CC mom and a Challenge B director, I believe, and she has amazing stuff on her blog. I will link it so that you can go check it out, because there's just tons of resources. And one of them are these logic flashcards. So they come like this, they're in color like this. You put them through your printer front to back, and they will, line up. It'd help if it's right side up. Statement and the definition on the back. And so that's what we did, and you can see there's a lot of them for the whole year. There's blank ones in there, so if there's a term that she missed or something like that we did find that there was a couple that we had to make our own cards for, so there were blank ones, so that was perfect. And so we kept these. You could put them on a ring or something, but generally I pulled out what we should know at any given moment, and we had a smaller stack, and that stack just kept growing over the year. So I would suggest some sort of flashcards or note cards if that works for your child. The last thing I'll mention, although it's totally optional, is the Trivium table for logic. I did buy this. Looking at it now that we've gone through logic, I can see some of the helpful stuff, but I'll be really honest, I totally forgot that I had this. You guys do that? And so we didn't ever use it. It's brand new. And I really actually need to make sure that I have the correct edition of this, because I know that there were a printing of this that had errors, so I need to make sure that I got the correct version. But I could see that these truth tables would have been real handy, and some of the other stuff is just, you know, reference there. There's even some terms on the back, so it could be a good reference. It's not one of those dire kind of things, but it might be handy, and if your kid is very visual, it might help. I can also see, looking forward, some challenge 1 logic in here. This is in all of the logics, square of opposition, and so it's good. It's visual. You know, they're $10, so if you want to get it, you can. We did not use it, like I said. Kind of forgot that I even had it, and so I'm going to put it out this year for the Challenge B student that I have this year, and we'll see if we get a little bit more use out of it, or if my older daughter, my older challenge student who is going into Challenge 1, maybe she'll get some use out of it. So that's it. That's all we have for Challenge B Logic. Pretty simple. Get your books from CC, a notebook to take notes, and keep, you know, any sort of handout or worksheets or vocabulary lists, and maybe some flashcards. So that's it. Talk to you later.